Welcome everybody to the video today. If you are new to the channel, this is Brian Turner Invest. I talk all things stocks, cryptocurrencies, investments in general. The point of today's video is to talk about the next big squeeze after GameStop, what everyone's going to be getting into, explain to you a basic overview of what's going on with GameStop if you haven't been following and you're trying to figure it out, and also to give you the updates on what's happening in the overall investment community, including Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If you're looking for what the next short position is when it comes to the stock market right now, I do not think personally that it's a great idea to be longing all these different stocks, because the situation with GameStop is very unique and it's very overshorted with naked positions. Basically, they don't own the stock and they're shorting it, so they have to purchase back at whatever price everyone wants to buy at. Everyone right now is saying, get BB, get AMC. Some people are saying, buy Nokia. Other people are saying, there's a couple other ones. But the situations are not the same with those companies. Same with space. A lot of them are heavily shorted, but not in the same way. And you're not going to see this huge movement of so many people buying it up to cause that pressure, to cause those short positions to have to squeeze at whatever price you want. And so while these prices might go up, it is very risky and it's not a guaranteed situation. That's my overview on that. I'm personally, again, just telling you what I'm in. I have shares in BlackBerry. I also have a decently sizable position in AMC that I'm up on quite well, so I can hold very comfortably. People are asking me right now, I have friends texting me right now, should I get on this? Are there any good positions? It's just because everyone's so excited about the GameStop situation, but this is not a situation that's going to happen with every other stock after this. You might get a lot of hype where people take their profits from GameStop and throw it into other things. You might get profits from retail people thinking that everything's going to squeeze now, throwing it into other things, raising the price of those things. So sure, it's a risky situation right now and you could make some money, but no, this is not something that's going to happen again and again and again. And putting your money on anything right now is definitely gambling, not investing. So that's that. So maybe you don't even know anything about investments at all, but basically in the stock market, you can do something called shorting a stock or a company, which basically means, to put it simply, you're betting that a stock will go down over time. And with these bets, you basically have to pay up at the end of the expiration date of your contract, your option. If you have shorted more than there are stocks in existence, you have to buy back those stocks to pay back those contracts on the expiration dates. Now, usually companies don't short a stock more than there are actually shares in existence. This is a very rare thing, but basically the Reddit Wall Street's bets figured out big hedge funds like Melvin Capital, Citron, Citadel 72 were shorting GameStop 140% of the total amount of stock that even exists. So they did a due diligence post and everyone got behind it. Tons of people started buying up the GameStop stock, and basically the mantra is diamond hands. Don't sell the stock ever. That's the idea. And eventually these big hedge funds that have shorted the stock will have to buy back the stock at whatever price the Wall Street bets and everybody else that's holding it wants them to buy. So this is called a short squeeze. Now that was a super simple way of putting it. If you want a much more in-depth description of it, I would either go on YouTube here and search for other much more detailed videos, or go on Wall Street Bets Reddit and punch in DD and look up some of the really long posts. It explains it way better with more detail. I'm not doing it justice just because I want you to kind of understand what's going on. The reason that this has now become a social movement is because people are tired of these big hedge funds basically trying to drive companies into bankruptcy and into the ground. They've done this with hundreds of other companies, including Tesla. They tried to, and they failed, which is why Elon is on the side of Wall Street Bets and us. And basically everyone's seeing it as a way to stick it to the man. Basically, every single day that they do not close their short positions and actually allow themselves to be squeezed and purchase back these stocks to pay back these short positions, they have to pay interest. And the interest is somewhere around, estimated to be 30 to 50% every single day, i.e. they are losing billions of dollars. In fact, on Tuesday of last week, Melvin had to receive a $2.71, I believe it was, billion infusion from other companies like Citadel, just to keep them afloat. And basically what they did was double down. They didn't close those positions. They just shorted more. At a certain point, I believe it was up to 200% short. it is really hard to know exactly how short they are on the position, but there's a lot of different figures. Yeah, Ortex shows 75% of the total stock that exists is short still. S3 shows 113% of the stock is still shorted. And finviz.com shows 121.98% of the total short position. So basically what this means is that anything over 100 is more than actually exists. That's bad news. On top of this, we have the whole world rallying behind this and buying up all of the stock. So even when that number comes below 100, they still have to purchase back those shorts. And so even if it gets down to 70 or 50%, that's still a huge short position when everybody is already purchasing up all of the stocks that exist. And anytime anyone's selling, those are getting snapped up. So the squeeze is still on. There's actually a site called Is the Squeeze Squoze.com, and that kind of is keeping track of what the short positions are and if these big hedge funds have started to basically buy back the stock to pay back their short positions and close their positions out. I know that was all a little bit complicated if you are new, but basically just too long didn't read. Put it simply, all of the little guys like us are trying to stick it to the man, except the tides have changed now, because on the side of the retail, the little guys are these gigantic people. You have Chamath Palihapitiya, you have Elon Musk tweeting about it, you have bazillion different celebrities talking about it. If you go on Reddit right now, you'll see people dropping $300,000, $500,000, $700,000 into it. Obviously right now the market's closed, but during, trading hours. And this is just because they are trying to keep that number above the short positions closing. So on Friday, it was important for the GameStop price to end above $320 because a lot of their contracts were expiring. And if they got it below $320, they would be basically not having to bleed out as much money. They wouldn't have to pay back those shorts. But they were able to close at $325, which meant that they lost even more money. I believe it was $700 million on Friday that they lost. On Thursday, we saw some stuff that everyone's really pissed about. Basically, Melvin, which is the big short company, they paid Robinhood 40% of Robinhood's total revenue per year. So they have their fingers in the honeypot with Robinhood. They have a lot of influence over them. We saw Robinhood literally close down trading of GameStop stock in the middle of the day while GameStop stock was flying through the roof. It was going up and up. At one point, it got to $460. This was something called the gamma squeeze, but basically kind of the same thing, squeezing the price up. And they said, we don't want to lose. So they just called up a bunch of the brokers and they had to shut them down. Now, the official reason that Robinhood and a bunch of other brokers are giving is that they just simply don't have the money on hand to keep the trading open. And that could or could not be true. They're saying that their clearinghouses that they have to report to basically were upping the amount of collateral that they had to put up to allow trading happen, where usually it's very small. They upped it. So they were like, we just didn't have the money, so we had to shut it down. The part that people are pissed about is that Robinhood kept selling up. So you were allowed to sell your GameStop shares, but you were not allowed to buy more. If you went on the app, the buy button was grayed out. You couldn't do it. But if you wanted to sell, you certainly could. That's market manipulation right there. Because if they just shut down everything, then sure, people would be mad. But obviously, a lot of people are going to panic if all of a sudden the only option is to sell. They're going to say, other people are probably selling. I don't want to be the one holding the bag. And then the price got driven down. So far, it got down to $115. Now, I personally know people who lost in the tens of thousands of dollars range because they were scared. They were buying as it was going up that day at 300, 350, 400. And then they saw it going down and they said, oh no, this is the crash. And they closed their position at the lowest points, $140, $115, because they were afraid it was going to go down to $0 or $10. And they were like, I'm just going to save what I can. If they would have held on, the price then very quickly recovered back up into the 300s. On top of already trying to stick it to the man, this is what has just lit the fire behind people because they are pissed that such blatant market manipulation happened that caused loads of people to lose their money. Basically, all of the biggest brokers that retail people are using to buy GameStop shut down but kept cells open, drove the price down, and the only people who are really able to trade at this time were people who are using other brokers, which is a smaller percent of retail people, and the big institutions like these hedge funds. During that time, basically everyone has agreed that these big hedge funds put in place something called a short ladder attack. Now, again, I'm just giving you what I understand about all this, but this is pretty deep stuff even for me. A short ladder attack is basically where hedge funds sell shares back and forth to each other at slightly lower prices than the market price, driving the price down. So I sell to you, you sell back to me, I sell back to you. We do it very quickly, within minutes, seconds. We do it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we're able to drive the price down from 460 down, like I said, to 115. At the same time, people are terrified as they lose their investment positions. They say, I'm just going to sell so that I don't lose everything, which then actually helps the price drive down more. It's insane. And a lot of people were very pissed about it. So I think I've kind of covered what's been going on. There's a lot of other stuff going on. But as this happened, you saw so many people step up to basically say, this is wrong. You literally have politicians on both sides agreeing that this is wrong. AOC, Ted Cruz were tweeting about it, saying that they think this is wrong. The SEC needs to get in on the action and levy court cases against, Melvin and everybody else. Elon Musk came in and said this. He said, you can't sell houses you don't own. You can't sell cars you don't own, but you can sell stock you don't own. This is BS. Shorting is a scam, legal only for vestigial reasons. Now, Elon is extra angry about this because this same company that is shorting GameStop is the same company that tried to short Tesla back in the day and tried to basically bankrupt the company. So Elon has a special emotional, vested interest in this. And then shortly after, he tweeted again and said, here come the shorty apologists. Give them no respect. Get shorty. So the world was on fire on Thursday. Just in on this. So that kind of updates you on what's been happening. What's going on right now is too much to cover, but a couple things. Stephen Cohen, one of the guys who is, I believe, CEO of one of these short companies, he deleted his Twitter account after mocking people and saying that if you can't keep up with the game, then you should get out of it. Basically laughing at the fact that people lost money even though they did the illegal thing of market manipulation and basically shutting down the stock market. I personally do not think that people should be buying in right now unless you're willing to lose every dollar you put in. If you're just in it for the movement, if you're just in it to be able to say one day to your kids, like, I was there for that crazy stuff that happened and I stuck it to the man, then that's one thing. But if you're in here because you're like, oh, it's going to the moon, I'm waiting for the squeeze, I'm going to put my life savings in there, I think that is extremely risky compared to the people who were able to get in much earlier, even just literally a week ago. Full disclosure, I hold a position in GameStop, a decently large one for myself, but my average buy-in price was 40 and 90, so I'm somewhere in like that 60, 65 range. So I'm in the money quite a bit, which makes it a lot easier for me to hold, but I personally am holding for this squeeze, and I'm excited because this is awesome. It's very interesting. Now, what's happening right now, on a funny note, a lot of Redditors are purchasing billboards. There's literally a billboard in New York Times Square right now that says, buy GME. People are flying planes around RobinHood's HQ that say some bad things I can't say because of the algorithm. And basically just everyone just wants to stick it to the man. Now, there are some fears about all this because basically people are saying that the short position hedge funds are shorting again, but just at a higher price. And so now the battle becomes, can the price stay above 325 where it closed on Friday or not? And if not, then these hedge funds will profit greatly as, if they're able to scare people out of their positions and cause a crash in the GME price, which again, who knows what they'll do? They shut down markets on Thursday. Who knows what other illegal things are going to pull out of their sleeves? So like I said, this is a fiery hot topic. I think at this point, it's more fun to keep up with it than to actually join it unless you're willing to lose your money. So that's what's going on with GME. I hope you're updated. I hope I did a decent job on that. We are covering this as it goes because things are insane in the markets right now. I have literally not slept in days because of this. I've been staying up way too late, glued to my phone. My brain feels melted, and I'm thankful that the markets are closed for the weekend so I can recoup. I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend, recovering as well if you're a part of this. And if you're new to it, I hope I caught you up and you're excited as I am. Monday, we go to battle again. Again, none of this is investment advice ever. I'm just telling you my opinions and trying to educate you on what's going on. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the very next video.